Hello and welcome to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams.
Dude,
What?
that's my intro.
Oh.
Hello and welcome to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. It was announced maybe about a month ago, maybe a little more than a month ago, that the NHL is looking to bring some preseason games to China, and more specifically Beijing and Shanghai. So the two teams have been announced. We have the Los Angeles Kings and the Vancouver Canucks. And this is an interesting step for the NHL to broaden its fan base and its exposure globally. So I know that there's a lot of people who don't like this at all. So we're just basically going to talk about it, discuss it, and tell you how we feel. My dad also chimes in with a video a bit later. I'll show in here. So I'll just toss this over to you. What do you think about this?
Well, for this particular scenario with them having two preseason games in China, I'm all for it because it's preseason games. Now, if it had been regular season games, games that really mean something, I'd be a little bit concerned, because if you look at an NHL schedule, a lot of times there's not a lot of layover in between games. So say if you have these two franchises traveling all the way to China, and then 48 hours later, they play a game in either Vancouver or LA. That is a lot of travel when you're playing hockey. So to me, that would be a huge concern, and how it would affect those teams moving forward after these games in China. But the fact it's exhibition games, you can't even guarantee the star players are going to be playing in these games, right? They could have guys up from junior in order to try them out, see what they got, try to make the team. So to me, it's all kind of smoke and mirrors for what the NHL is ultimately looking to achieve. And that would be having their games in homes in China for this.
Yeah,
money.
It's all about
That's
money.
ultimately what they're trying to achieve, right? They want to broaden the exposure of the NHL, as you said, to more of a global audience. But at the end of the day, how many NHL players are there from China?
I don't think there's...
I can't think of a single one off the top of my head.
Was Brad Hart from China?
I can think of a ton from, Finland, Sweden, and all that. But the NHL is also looking at bringing games into Europe as well. But that's for another video. But if you look at the population of China, I mean,
it's massive. It's
if they can really
billions.
grow a fan base in China to the point where they have people paying for online subscriptions for streaming games, they have people buying NHL merchandise, it could be huge.
The Chinese people are very passionate about their sports. They're very they're perfectionists. They love their sports, and hockey could really grow in China. Like there's such a growth potential in China. Like you said, that it's preseason games, I'm okay with it. If it was regular season games, that's really tough. That's on literally the other side of the world. That's hard as far as travel.
The fact is preseason games, that's what really warmed me up to it.
And even with preseason games, they're going to have a lot of time off before they leave and after they come back, because, I mean, I've never been to China, but I have to assume the flight's probably from North America 16, 18 hours, maybe?
Yeah, I'm sure it would be really lengthy.
100%, but it's a lot of dedication from the players.
Yeah, I think as a player, if I was in that predicament, I'd be excited to go.
I would be too.
It's a chance to market the game, get it out there amongst all the people that would be interested, which to me, I think there would be a lot of interest, because this would be something new. Because where in China can you just go and watch a hockey game?
Yeah. And we'll never see an NHL team in China. That's not possible. So this isn't to... If there's anyone out there who thinks that the NHL is, expanding into China, that will never happen, ever. But it's all about bringing exposure of the game to the society of China. So I think my dad says this in his video coming up, but I'm not sure if the NHL has to be the venue or the people to do this, but I think they're the best choice. I think that, if you want someone to introduce you to something, you want it to be the best people to do it. Like no one's better at hockey than the NHL. They have the most talented players in the world. They are the best at marketing. They are the biggest, have the biggest fan base. it should be the NHL to do it. So I'm glad that they are doing it, and I really hope it takes off in China and hockey becomes a thing.
Yeah, as long as it's not to the point where they're doing, say, 2 to 3 regular season games every single year overseas.
Yeah.
That would be a bit much for me. But, I mean, if they have different franchises, you know, not the same ones all the time, because that would get a little repetitive. But having different franchises representing the NHL overseas and all these other areas where they could really grow the hockey market, I see nothing wrong with it if it's preseason games. Why not? And I think a lot of players would say, hey, pick me. I want to play in this, because it would be a very interesting experience, you know, to play hockey in China.
It would be really interesting.
Very interesting.
In 15 years to look, or 16 years, whatever, to look back on today and see, wow, China has a hockey team in the Olympics. 16 years ago, yep. This is why.
You never know.
Like, can you imagine 16 years from now we have a Chinese hockey team in the Olympics? That would be exciting. I mean,
yeah, it would be. You never know. It could turn out to be a colossal flop. It's possible. I mean, the NHL is putting a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy into this. It could be a colossal flop because, I mean, if you look at the Chinese culture compared to North American culture, it's almost a complete 180, really. Maybe they just will not have interest in this whatsoever. You know, it's like certain products even that have so much success in North America, yet that same product launches in China and it's a complete flop. It really happens. But they're really taking a chance here because they realize that if they can penetrate this market, the revenue would just be through the roof.
Definitely. So my dad, like I said, he chimed in on this. So let's watch his video now.
I've heard recently that the NHL is planning to have at least one and maybe some exhibition games in China in the next year or two. I think, I really don't care, but you know, if you ask me to care, I think it's probably okay to do that. Not with the aim of ever involving China in a future league or making it a regular thing, but China is one place where the game of hockey could grow. I'm not a fan of the NHL going to Europe, as you may already know. China is a bit of a different animal because it's a culture and a society that is coming into contact professional sports of the kind that we're used to only fairly recently. And I think the Chinese market, I mean, there's 1.5 billion people who live there. And they are as much passionate about their sports and our sports as we would be. And hockey is a compellingly gorgeous game to watch if it's done right. And I think it would appeal to basically anybody. And the Chinese have not had the kind of exposure to hockey that the Europeans have had. And I think it's fertile ground to grow the game generally. Now, I'm not sure if the NHL has to be the vehicle to do it. You know, it could just be the IIHF, or it could be some other league, or more of an amateur association that could do it. But if the NHL wants to spend some money and send a few teams over there to play some exhibition games so the Chinese fan base can see what real hockey looks like when it's played right, I'm okay with that. I wish them well. I think China wants to be a player in the world stage when it comes to winter sports. And I believe that having good hockey teams and a good hockey culture is something that would be a natural fit for a great country like China.
Well, you've heard from my dad, you've heard from me, and you've heard from Justin here. So this is just a discussion. We want to know what you think about the situation. Do you like China going? Do you like China? Do you like the NHL going to China? Do you hate it? Do you think it's a bad decision? Let us know down in the comments below. We really want to know what you guys feel about this. If this is your first video on Post to Post, we hope you hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. And until the next video, adios.